Most of hustle culture in America is fueled by fear, a desperate reaction to the prospect of being average, broke, or forgotten. We film TikToks after 10-hour shifts and tweak Shopify stores until dawn, often to avoid the feeling that we are not enough. It is a cycle of activity that looks like a pursuit of freedom, but feels like a slow decay. To break that cycle, we have to look at how Friedrich Nietzsche defined human drive. He argued that beneath almost every human action is a desire to grow, to master, and to stand above what you once were. He called this the will to power. This text shows Nietzsche's title, Also sprach Zarathustra. Here, he defines power not as money or status, but as becoming what he called the overman, someone who creates their own meaning rather than following the rules of the 9-to-5 machine. When you look at your own side hustle, ask if you are building a new identity or if you are simply running away from a feeling of inadequacy. The intention behind the grind changes its entire nature. One path leads to a repetitive exhaustion. The other turns every hour worked into a deliberate act of self-creation. We can see this will to power playing out across 4 common archetypes of the modern gig economy. Take the corporate employee building a Shopify store at night. On the surface, they are just looking for extra cash to supplement a salary. But the deeper shift is one of autonomy. They are testing whether they can generate value through their own decisions, rather than just executing someone else's tasks. Or consider the creator filming on their days off to build an empire. Critics see this as a shallow pursuit of clout and digital followers. Nietzsche would see a person testing their influence. By building a brand, the creator is attempting to shape perception and command attention rather than begging for it. Even the freelancer taking projects on Fiverr after a layoff is doing more than just trying to pay rent. They are proving to themselves that they can survive under their own rules. The will to power here is the demand to prove capability rather than just hoping for a paycheck. Then there is the corporate dropout selling online courses. Society views the move as high risk, trading a stable salary for uncertainty. What connects these 4 is a refusal to remain domesticated. They are choosing the possibility of failure on their own terms over the certainty of succeeding on a path laid out by someone else. This graph shows a line representing work hours climbing until it collapses into 0. Critics argue that using philosophy to justify the hustle only encourages this kind of self-destruction and burnout. However, Nietzsche did not worship exhaustion. He worshipped strength. This new line shows mastery rising as work hours stabilize. Strength is found in the ability to dominate your own impulses, specifically the impulse to keep working past the point of diminishing returns. The balanced scale here represents the actual goal, a side hustle that you rule rather than one that rules you. True power is the internal strength required to shut the laptop and enforce a boundary. Power is not measured by the quantity of the grind, but by the degree of mastery you have over your own time. If the only purpose of your side hustle is to chase viral benchmarks or appease financial anxiety, it becomes a debt trap. But you can treat it as a dojo, a laboratory where the primary goal is not money, but growth. This starts with defining your own standards. Decide what skills you want to own and what kind of freedom you actually need, rather than following the metrics on an Instagram feed. Use every week to perform one power experiment. Pitch a new client that genuinely intimidates you, or raise your prices by 20%. Each time you face that fear, you are channeling Nietzschean ambition. Stop endlessly scrolling through other people's highlight reels and successes, and actively pull the trigger on your own potential today. A side hustle can either be a slow suicide of the soul, or the battlefield where you become exceptional. The outcome depends entirely on whether you work out of fear or work to create yourself.